Guys, welcome to episode 5 of the Small Talk Podcast.
How's it
Today,
going?
we're joined by a guest. Introduce yourself, guest.
What's up? I'm Elion Soto. Very happy to be here.
He's a
So
best athlete at JA right here, guys.
yeah,
Right
Hell
here.
yeah. So basically, I don't know. We kind of got the superstar now. So Elliot, what have you been up to lately?
What's up?
What have you been up to lately? Like,
Well,
how's quarantine?
quarantine, there's not much to do. I've been playing so much Fortnite, fellas. You guys have no idea. I'm actually pretty good at Fortnite now. I've been playing some Call of Duty, kind of new to that because I just got it. So it's very intense, very hard, low key.
Okay.
Been trying to do like some home workouts with what I have, just trying to stay in shape. And then I've been eating quite a bit.
Gaining weights?
I'm gaining weights.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Obies. And then I've been watching a lot of movies and stuff like that.
What movies have you watched lately?
You know, yesterday I watched World War Z. It's a very good one.
That's a good movie.
Yes,
really
I love the movie. And then the other day I was watching what movie was it? Grown Ups or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, very funny and stuff like that. Mm-hmm.
Watching a lot of Disney Plus.
Actually, yeah. Not gonna lie. Been
There's
watching.
the Waverly Place.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Just stuff like
Well,
that. Kind of stay busy.
That's good to hear.
So now I think we kind of want to get into, since we're all on the baseball team, and I think we've mentioned it in previous episodes, but our season, well, it was originally suspended until April 6th, but now it's suspended until April 18th. So our hope is that's still going to happen, but we just wanted to share our thoughts with what, the whole schedule and playoff scenarios should look like if we return on April 18th, because that's like only a few weeks before the end of school. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Any of you want to take that?
Well, I think the best way to go about it, because originally I think the championship game was going to be played on like June 7th or something like that. So it's going to go already pretty late into like the summer and like
into the summer
the school
already.
year. So, yeah, so I think if we make it to that April 18th date and they clear us to play and we end up going back to school and stuff, I think that it should be a condensed season. So I would assume probably a week of preparation and then hit it with just 3 really hard weeks of the regular season with probably 3 to 4 games a week with like double headers on Saturdays. They might open up Sundays if that ends up happening.
Yeah, that's what I think.
I think that might be a beneficial thing because then we could kind of line up a lot of the games, like 1 game Thursday, 1 game Friday, 2 games Saturday, 2 games Sunday, and then we got in 6 games for that week, and we can kind of make up 16 to 18 games in 3 weekends if we really needed to, because that also gives us Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to kind of prepare for the upcoming games. And then like a condensed playoff bracket. So I don't know. I think I'd like to see like kind of the top 32 teams like it is normally, and then just like instead of having like the regional playoffs, we just go into a just like one round where it's no longer like a 2 life thing, because I'm pretty sure Wright State is like you get two
Yeah.
lives, right?
It is a double elimination, 8-team double elimination bracket.
Yeah, so it's like a single elimination out of 32 teams. We just play, you seed it like you would, I guess, with like the East and the West or whatever, like 1 through 16, and then you just seed it like that, and then it's just single elimination until we got a winner. So
Ooh, that could be fun, kind of like a March Madness style.
kind of a little bit, but I think it also speeded up because if teams were playing 2 games a day, you could get effectively all of playoffs done in one weekend, because you could have a single elimination tournament where you play 1 game on Friday, you win that game, then you play again on Saturday. If you win that game, then you play again later on Saturday, and then have the championship game Sunday.
Well,
I
Yeah,
mean,
that's crazy. That would be crazy.
it'd be a crazy time. Like it'd be a lot of baseball, but I honestly think that that's one of the only ways because baseball's such a long season, and while we don't have as many games as the college and pro level athletes do, we still like would have to condense it. I think it'd be tough on a lot of. I think the hardest part would be pitching, like figured out who's gonna actually pitch.
Yeah.
I'd probably pitch.
Everyone turns into pitchers.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
What do you think, Elliot?
I agree with Caleb. It'd just be, I don't know. I just really want to play. So whatever it comes down to, and I'm sure everyone else really wants to play as well. So just any way for us to get out on the field, I'll be okay with, really.
Yeah.
I almost think they should just trim it so that we only play our league schedule.
Yeah.
Or something like that, or like because we already play like 5 games out non-league. I feel like they should just like cut those.
And then we're in that tournament as well. So
Yeah.
But I almost think they should keep the playoffs like because if what you're saying is they rush it through like 3 weeks, then they could probably keep the playoffs pretty similar to their usual format.
Yeah. I mean, if we could rush the majority of the season through in 3 weeks, I guess I didn't really think about that. We could effectively get it done by June 7th and just have that June 7th day as the state championship game.
Yeah,
But
I mean, the thing is, I don't think anybody wants it going that deep into the summer. Like,
yeah,
I
was
don't
already kind of a little bit
enjoy-
worried about it to begin with.
I don't know. It would be fun though, like playing all summer still. It'd be like summer ball again.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't know. I think that if the season does end up getting like canceled, I feel like they should do something for like the seniors. Like they should have like a senior team. So you know how there's that like Frontier League, Metro League game for all the seniors at the end of the year. I feel like they should have like a little like 2-week tournament with like all the seniors on from like the Metro League playing on one team and then all the seniors from Frontier League playing on one team and you just go at it for a couple games. Just because like if it does end up getting canceled, we're not going to get a senior night, so
Yeah, I know.
yeah. It'll be
That's
tough.
hard to say. I think I'm hopeful, but
Yeah, I still got a lot of hope, but just gotta wait.
Start going, it's hard to say. And like we've said this over and over again, we really don't know what's going to happen.
No, I honestly have no idea. And the more and more that we kind of like get into this pandemic and everything that's happening, it's really like this is like first of a kind for everybody. Like the last time that something like this happened was like the early 1900s with when the flu was first introduced. Like
the Spanish flu and something like the World Wars, but it's not even like that. Like they kept the schools open during the wars and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
it's
like
weird. It's just a weird time. Like,
yeah, it's definitely like it's at this point. Like I know that we've tried to make like the episodes kind of like lighthearted and talk about things that we've just been doing like while we've had this quarantine time. But at this point, it's kind of inevitable like to talk about because it's like the only thing that's going on in the world right now is like the coronavirus and like what's going to happen with it and how everything is kind of like going down. Like I don't know, how do you guys feel about that? Like do you guys like think about it a lot and like what do you think that the US should be doing to, I guess, like minimize our chances of having a real like epidemic within our country?
like the end. Well, I think just that social distancing, people need to follow that. I mean, that works, right? Like people like I know it sucks, but like we have to do that kind of thing. And I think the thing about this situation, and it's so boring, but it's so like necessary. You know what I'm saying? Like because like even if like so if everybody in the world got infected with coronavirus, even with like a 3% mortality rate, that's like hundreds of millions of people, right?
Yeah.
So we have to control it. And like I don't want Colorado to be like you know the number of cases just keeps growing by thousands every day and I don't know. It's just such a tough situation because like for your personal like for me personally like I would love to be able to do everything. I would love to be still going to school, still having baseball, but like I get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, when it first kind of happened, like I definitely was not, I guess, on board with it. I thought it was stupid. I didn't really understand it. But the more and more that we kind of go into this, and as hard as it is to just not want to just like go over to someone's house for like a little bit, like the people who are getting upset about it are and are like just kind of like disregarding it are the reason why now there is an actual travel ban like within our state where we're not allowed to leave except for necessary like things, and people are getting like pulled over and cops are like asking people where they're going and showing them proof of like what they're doing because it's legitimately like it's gone to the point where like we know that this is what needs to be done, but people don't have the, I guess, like wherewithal to understand that and follow that. So now there has to be legal action taking place, so that way we don't end up like China or Italy. I don't know. You, what do you think?
I don't know. I just think people just need to play their role, do what they're asked, and like if we all just do it now, the faster things will clear up, in my opinion. And so,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
completely agree with
so we just got to do, and then just be patient and let things play out. It's the only thing we can really do, unfortunately.
Yeah.
that.
I mean, it sucks, right? That's like it sucks, but we have to do our part and we have to play our role, kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
We'll see where it
it's
goes.
pretty crazy. It just, I don't know. Like, I think the thing that people need to realize is that the sooner that you guys are like we're cooperative, like the sooner this thing will be kind of like over. Because I mean, it sounds like everybody in Korea was super cooperative, and like South Korea's done with the coronavirus. Like,
Yeah, South Korea figured it out.
yeah, like as soon as like we they got the coronavirus, like they started getting cases, they just started testing everybody, and everybody who was tested was immediately quarantined and tested positive was immediately quarantined, and then they got through within like a couple weeks, and they're right next to China, and they're like completely done with it now.
The
Yeah.
problem is we're past that stage. We're past
Exactly.
the stage where we can shut it down in 3 weeks because we as a society didn't jump on it. We didn't
We didn't
you know
take it
take proper
seriously.
precautions, and so we're past that point where we can just shut it down in a couple of days or a couple of weeks, and now we're kind of dealing with those consequences.
Yeah, but I think that now this, I guess, ban is kind of a good thing because it's giving people the chance to kind of take a look at themselves and kind of, I guess, like see some of the symptoms that they may not have noticed when they were go go go, and then maybe like get tested and maybe start to kind of separate people who are positive from those who are not positive, and just kind
So
of
what I will say is now we're on that stay-at-home order, and so today I drove to my grandma's house to like drop off an iPad, just so we can like keep in contact with her and that kind of thing. And honestly, like the streets were so full of people, like there was still a lot of people out, and like drive-through restaurants and restaurants are still open for carry-out. So it's not like like everything's shut down like you would expect,
yeah,
which I
yeah,
think is
it's
kind of
more.
like counterintuitive. Like if we're gonna shut things down, like obviously people need to keep their jobs, but if we're gonna shut things down, like let's do it the right way.
I think that's more. They said all non-essential businesses should be closed. That's stores like places at the mall, like Kohl's, like places like that that are more for like clothing and kind of
Retail.
like fashion, yeah, retail stores. And this is more like food industry stores, and they're considered essential businesses just because of like that they handle food. But I know that like Panera specifically is like closed off. Like you're not allowed to stay in the dining room. Like they don't have a drive-through in the one off of Church Ranch, but they
Yeah.
still like you're not allowed to kind of like hang out in there. Like as soon as you get your food, you're supposed to leave. You can come in and place an order early, go in there and grab it, but their like dining room is closed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's just weird, man. Like again, it's just a weird situation.
yeah, it's super weird. Um, I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on the upcoming MLB baseball season? I know we talked about our season, but what are kind of like your thoughts of some of the ideas that you've heard?
I'm excited. Rockies, world champs.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh,
I'm just kidding.
now this guy, Caleb doesn't believe in the Rockies anymore. He's no longer a fan. He's a fair weather fan.
I'm not a fair weather
Yes,
fan.
you
I
are,
just do
sir.
not agree with the ownership. I do not agree with what they did in the offseason, and I do not agree with how they are treating Nolan Arenado, arguably one of the greatest third basemen ever to play the baseball. So I would I would say
Like
that
you still got to stick
until
behind the team, man. No matter what, you got to
uh,
believe.
no, I don't think so. Especially having okay, so a little bit of a story time. So my dad is a pipe fitter for MTech. He is actually working on a some buildings downtown, and he's running one of the buildings for the Mumfords because they are like across from Coors Field. They're putting up like four buildings that are all supposed to kind of be about the Rockies, but they're supposed to bring in a lot more money because there's going to be a Hall of Fame kind of like area where you can go in and see all the Rockies that are in the Hall of Fame. There's going to be like a bunch of trophy cases to put up all of our non-existent trophies. There's going to be like a hotel and like all this stuff. So it's all going to be like
Yeah,
kind of
it's
like
like a
about the
building.
Rockies. But my dad has like direct interaction with Dick Monfort, who like he knows that my dad's not a fan of the Rockies and that my dad doesn't really like him, but he's kind of been a little bit I don't know pushy about it. And he's just it sounds like he's more interested in the business aspects of like owning a team rather than the actual team, which is why I can't really get behind him.
Well, so I know about that village. Like it's called the village. A lot of teams are doing it now with stadiums. They're like the Braves did it. They built their stadium, but then they built like restaurants, park, and like a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of teams are doing it now, and it's supposed to eventually bring in money for the team so that we can start signing some actual free agents and like keeping our players more. But like I don't know, we'll
Um,
see. They were supposed to get a boost from like TV revenue. They didn't get that. So they're kind
mm-mm.
of like I don't know, like their hands were kind of tied to this offseason. But I agree with that. I've said it for like I've seen for a long time like the Monforts like I'm happy like they like our team like our ownership situation is stable, but it seems like they do enjoy the business aspect of it a lot.
Yeah, they. It's just one of those things where I feel like at some point, yes, you want to like boost your bottom line and you want to make like money owning a team, obviously, but at some point, like it's your duty to kind of take your fans, I guess, thoughts and wishes into consideration. Like Nolan Arenado is without a doubt one of your biggest, I guess, like jersey sellers, ticket sellers. Like he's like the reason that people still come to games and still buy T-shirts. Like people aren't buying Charlie Blackmon T-shirts anymore. People are maybe buying Trevor Story T-shirts, but like Nolan Arenado is still like the guy, and like they kind of messed it up because we had probably the best infield in the major leagues with LeMahieu, Story, and Arenado, but
Bro, the team was
let
sick.
TJ LeMahieu go because we didn't re-sign him, and then we let Adam Ottavino go,
We
and
But we were trying to re-sign Nolan that offseason, so we didn't really have money to throw at those guys.
he still had time left on his contract. Though we could have either re-signed him earlier or waited.
We would have lost him if he went to free agency. I firmly believe that if we let him get to free agency, he would be gone. And that's not because he doesn't like it here. That's just because we wouldn't have figured out a way to re-sign him.
Yeah, I also don't agree with like some of the behind the scenes. Like obviously, I don't know any of them personally, and I don't have like some insider tip of like kind of what's happened behind the scenes. But just from what I've heard, like it sounds like they're kind of like mad at Nolan for being upset about like him wanting to win because that's the
Which
only thing is like
frustrates
he's a
me.
competitor.
Yeah. What do you think, Elion?
You know, I'm taking both of your guys' sides. Like, I can see where Caleb's coming from, but I also see where you're coming from, Panda. I just think we should keep Nolan. He's my favorite player personally. I love him. Like, I love how he plays. I love how much passion he plays the game with. Just, I really like Nolan, and so, like Caleb said, I'm sure he's like his jersey's like the most sold, and like he sells a lot of tickets and stuff. So, and like the fans love him, so I just think it'd be the best for him to stay here and to keep the fans happy, keep the Rockies happy because I'm sure they're happy to have him still. As long as
more people are going to jump ship when he leaves.
If you're a Rockies, like if you are the Rockies front office, though, you have to keep Nolan happy. Mm-hmm. I agree with that, because he is your guy. Like he is the Rockies right now. I mean, we have Story. He's amazing. He's probably 10, top 15 player in the league. And our pitching staff, they're young, but I think if they keep getting more experience, man, and they're going to be good. The problem is by the time they're good, they're going to be expensive, and the Rockies aren't going to be able to pay them. And that's literally the story of the Rockies. Like,
yeah, we've done a good job of drafting and kind of grooming prospects, but like that's the problem is we draft well and we groom prospects and we kind of build them up, but then we don't have like plans set in place beforehand, like before they get good. So then we're trying to scramble after they're like just mysteriously like pop off and now they're like getting national media attention and stuff like that. And at that point we don't have, I guess, the funds or the market to like be able to hold on to them. So
yeah, we're still a small market. I mean, Denver is obviously one of the fastest growing cities, but we're still a small market team compared to like New York, Boston, LA. So that's where we're at. I think obviously, I mean, maybe eventually, hopefully in the near future, they can hold on to some of those guys, but like we're literally the breeding ground for people who leave the team and then go and like win a World Series or something like that.
Exactly. Like, we're like a stepping stone at this point, and like I feel like for the next 20 years, I feel like that's probably going to be the story of the Rockies.
The key to like winning World Series then for the Rockies is just to get that group that 1 or 2 years and who just runs the table, and then they break up because they're all going to be too expensive.
Yeah, that's kind of what the Broncos did. Like for a while, the Broncos had like a few like key pieces. Like we had Von Miller, then we signed Peyton Manning in free agency, and then we had a few just like I guess solid pieces on the offense. I know we had DT and Emmanuel, and like we had the no fly zone with Chris Harris, T.J. Ward, and Aqib Talib, and then we just kind of built off of that, and eventually like we had created the greatest defense of all time and had one of the worst, I guess, offenses to win a Super Bowl, but we ended up winning. And literally the next year after that, everybody left. But like it was one of those things where we were just trying to build just to win a championship. We weren't trying to create a dynasty. We were just trying to, I guess, win it.
And I think that's what the Rockies need to do.
Yeah, and I think Nolan's a part of that. Like,
I mean, Nolan Arenado is in his prime. Let's build to win in the next 3 years, but that's not happening.
Exactly. Like, especially if I was Nolan, like I'd get tired of losing all the time. Like he's one of the greatest players to ever play the game, and like if he's just gonna continue to lose and lose and lose, like how is that gonna look? Like he doesn't want to retire and go to the Hall of Fame and be with all these people who have won multiple championships and be compared to everybody and always be told that he can't win the big one because he never did. Like,
yeah,
like that would really, I think,
get under his skin. On slumming it with us at JA, you know, he's the best one.
Yeah, you could go to University or Eton.
Yeah, come on now.
Go play out in Sterling or the big bums from Bennett.
You can go play with the farm boys.
No, there's nowhere no other place I would want to be besides JA. With the boys. Oh yeah.
I think something else we wanted to talk about with the MLB Well, first, actually, today we literally just got off a fantasy baseball draft
I
with
got the
some
best team.
other seniors from the team, and literally, I'm so mad because I joined the draft a minute late. I didn't realize I was the second overall pick, and no diss on Ronald Acuna Jr. because he's a phenomenal player, but he is not who I would have picked with the second overall pick. And
Who were
I
you
would
going
have
to
picked,
have?
bro. I would have picked up like Nolan or
I told you, Caleb.
No, why would you pick Nolan? Nolan was, bro. I got Nolan in the second round. That would have been a dumb first pick, especially with the second pick.
Well, I got
Like,
Trout.
You should have gotten Trout. You could have gotten Trout.
Trout. Wait, who did Pearson pick first overall?
No, that was Elliott who picked first overall.
I got pick. I got Trout.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the easy.
Okay,
first
you still
pick.
had Yelich, Belly, Betts.
That's what I'm saying, and I got Acuna out of those guys.
Ronald Acuna though was the first. Was projected to be the first overall pick though.
He's really good. Don't get me wrong, but come on, bro. Like,
Yelich,
I would
Yelich.
pick Christian Yelich. I just like that guy. I like the way he goes about his.
I got
stuff.
Christian Yelich, and then I got Nolan in the second, and then I got Max Scherzer in the third.
That was a good pick. I got Walker Bueller though. That's gonna be a fire pick.
I got Strasburg.
I don't know. I'm trying to make a trade with Pearson to get Chris Bryant and Garrett Cole with Jose Altuve and
Carlos.
Oh, you want a little buzzer?
he's another pitcher. He's for the Cardinals. He's one of the Cardinals starters.
Jack Flaherty.
Yeah, and Mike Moustakas. So if that trade goes through, then I hope it is because Mike
Wait, you
Moustakas
want
is
a little buzzer man?
huh?
You want a little buzzer?
No,
man?
I only drafted him because no one picked him for like I got him in like the 5th round. He's projected to be a 3rd round pick, so I just figured I might as well pick him up just in case I don't end up getting a second baseman. But I don't plan on keeping him on my team.
Yeah, little man's gonna be garbage without his buzzer. So,
That's what I'm saying. Without the center field camera, baby.
bro, without the trash cans too, he's finished.
Bro, without the trash cans, him and Bregman are gonna take a big step back. That's facts.
Shaking my head.
Yeah.
Okay, I think the last thing we'll talk about is obviously the MLB season has been pushed back as well until at least mid-May. It'll probably start in early June, hopefully. That's the hope. With that being said, that means the schedule is going to need some major changes. I've heard play all 162 games and have a World Series game on Christmas. And basically the playoffs would be at neutral sites so that the weather isn't a factor. That's kind of cool, but like if the Rockies were to make it this year, which I don't know if they can do that, but like they're like it would be hard to go and travel to go see them at a neutral site, which would kind of suck. But also a World Series game on Christmas, like tell me not. That would
be one of the best Christmas presents ever.
You wake up, you know, like
that'll be the first and last time that this happens.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
we'll be back from college, wake up, chillax, hang out with our family, just watch the World Series. That'd be so cool.
Yeah, I think it's I don't know. They have experience. So the MLB, the good thing about like with them being around for so long is they've had experience kind of postponing seasons and stuff like that. So I think what they're gonna do is I don't know the exact specifics of some of the stuff, but I know that like around both World Wars there was kind of like some tension and they had to postpone some seasons a little bit and stuff like that. So I hope that they kind of look back and see what worked then and then try and use that now because if they try and kind of rewrite the script and try and do something that's just crazy and new, like I feel like it's not going to work out, especially with all the stuff that's going on now. Like it's not really the time to be experimenting on like how to get more sales this year. I think it's just more kind of damage control at this point.
Well, wouldn't it be sick if they did like some kind of December baseball kind of thing?
Yeah.
Like tell me not. That would be so
instead
cool.
of Rocktober. It's just
Rock December.
Yeah, right.
What do you guys think
with,
like the NBA?
Oh yeah, the NBA. I don't even know, man.
I don't know. I think that they should give them some time to like get prepared, and they should have like, I would say like 10 games to kind of like, I guess, like seal the deal on the standings, and then they should just go straight
Yeah.
into playoffs. Because
Yeah.
I don't think that they should go straight into playoffs coming off of like this big break, because a lot of them, like having a couple weeks even to get ready, like are not going to be in full form. So I think that they need to start playing like some games to try and get them up. But I think the best thing for them is just to try and get into the playoffs as fast as possible, so they're not competing with baseball,
Yeah.
because when they come back, like baseball is going to be trying to get started as soon as possible. And so I think basketball, it's in their best interest to get their players up to speed as quick as possible, so that way the playoffs aren't obviously a wreck, but then just try and get them as like into playoffs as quick as they can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be, yeah. It's hard to say. It's interesting because obviously baseball hasn't started yet, and the NBA was kind of getting close to playoffs. So it's almost they're on opposite ends of the spectrum, right? Like I don't
Hmm
know, it's like again weird time, but
Yeah. Tough.
I'd like to see them do that. Play like like 10 more regular season games, and then jump into the playoffs, and probably just keep the playoffs pretty similar to what they are now.
Yeah.
I think what all the leagues should be trying to do is keep their playoff system as close to what it normally is as is possible. So MLB, you can shorten the regular season, but please do not like
Condense the playoffs.
like I saw something today. There's going to be 14 playoff teams instead of 10, like 7 in each league, like just crazy things because basically they're trying out everything because they have no idea what they're actually going to do.
Yeah.
Because, but I do. I'm going to keep saying it. I really like the idea of a World Series game on Christmas.
I do too.
That would be pretty cool. Wouldn't mind that at all.
It's hard to see what they'll do though.
Yeah, it is tough. And I mean, I guess like we'll just have to wait and see, and we'll try and like stay updated on it. But at this point, the only thing we can do is really wait, because if this thing gets any worse, then it might have to be where they are forced to condense everything, or maybe even like postpone it to next year. Like we could go possibly, if this thing like continues, we could go an entire year without sports. That would
Don't say that, man.
Yeah,
It's
don't
hard.
even go there, Caleb.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying that, like,
No, I know.
there is
You're
that
totally
possibility.
right, dude. You're totally right as well.
That would be
Yeah.
crazy.
That'd be a tough pill to swallow, but I don't know. Hopefully that if that happens, then the following year, everybody's just so antsy from not being able to play and stuff like that, that they just like,
Go off.
yeah, they just are like everybody's playing their hearts out. You know?
What do you guys think if the MLB were to have like multiple double headers a week per team, but they were only 7 innings long, so like a high school game? Because that's one of the things they're proposing as well.
Um,
That.
you don't
I
like
don't-
7 inning games?
I mean, I don't mind that, but I don't like the
It kind
double-
of takes from the tradition. It kind of like
The MLB, like I said, needs to keep the process and the individual games as close to what they normally are. So I think even if you shorten the season to like 120 games or however many you can get in before like the end of October maybe, or maybe like mid-October, you should just do that instead of like creating 7 inning games. Like 7 inning games, what is that going to do for anybody?
Exactly, yeah. And 120 games is still a lot.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
we play what 20, 21, like up to 30.
Yeah.
If we, or,
Uh-huh.
like, through the-
Like 120 is a lot.
yeah,
So-
like 162 games. Like, let's be real. Like, how many of those games does like your entire team actually play? Like the best of the best. Like, there's a lot of like load management that happens, and a lot of games that are like scheduled losses. Like, you go through your schedule and you kind of look and you're like, okay, this game is going to be a loss and it doesn't matter, but this game is a must win, so that one matters. And it's kind of like you go through your
Yeah.
schedule and you kind of, I guess, set your roster according to that.
But then there's players like Nolan who play like 158, 160 games. And that's why I'm saying, like, baseball, these players are very durable. Like, they're contrary to popular belief, baseball players are in, most of them anyways, are in really good shape.
Yeah.
Like, their legs are super strong. Their upper bodies are pretty strong. So, like, they're built to last. And so that's
Yeah,
why
I think
62 games.
they're mentally conditioned because I would say that they're not like in shape to go run like a marathon or like
Oh,
a 10K or like play a full football game or something like that, but they're like mentally conditioned because baseball's kind of like a different level of fatigue because it's a very like thinking game. Like you have to be constantly on your toes and you have to be ready to react to like everything that's going to happen. So it's very mentally taxing as well as physically taxing because it puts a lot of stress on your arm throwing every day and playing long toss. And as a pitcher, like if you're throwing a lot of bullpens and flat grounds and just like getting in games and throwing a lot of innings, like it's like pretty taxing on your shoulder and your elbow and kind of like you're always sore, like your biceps hurt and stuff. So it's just like one of those things where you're conditioned in a different way than you would be like I guess like a football player
football.
or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
It's definitely a grind too, like all the bunt plays and stuff. Especially that scrimmage at third base, I was like, oh my gosh, what is happening?
It's a very like mentally challenging game as well as it's a physically like demanding game at times. Like if you get back to back balls in the gaps in the outfield, like you're running a good amount of distance while you're trying to figure out, okay, where am I gonna throw this ball? Like where's my cutoff gonna be? What happens if my cutoff's not there? Like who am I gonna throw it to? Um, like oh, there's a ball in the air now. Like it's not hit at me, but I gotta go find somewhere to go. Like oh, it's hit to right field and there's a dude on first. So I gotta go back up third now. Like it's just like there's a lot of stuff that's going on. So like while you're kind of like already running around and still like being active, like now you have to think about it and you have to focus in like very easily.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a grind and I miss it for sure.
Yeah. And I
And
think for those professional players, like the problem is you have to have an off day, like in baseball for sure, like just to get your mental batteries recharged. So I don't
Mhm.
want them playing 120 games straight, just like 4 months, no days off. Like
yeah,
you're gonna see sloppy baseball.
That would be pretty sloppy baseball for sure.
Although for a
Yeah,
fan,
I don't
it's
know.
fun to watch like when your team doesn't have an off day for like 3 weeks because you just always see them every day. So
true.
that's
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
like
it'd be cool to watch, but it'd just be like you said, very sloppy baseball.
it'd probably be the worst playoffs we've ever seen just because everybody would be so mentally taxed.
Yeah.
And that's why I think like with the NBA, they have to because everybody's like, oh, this is gonna be the greatest playoffs ever because everybody's gonna be fresh.
Nah.
Yes, people may be fresh, but if they don't have that like speed going, it's not gonna be good because you have to. It's not only about your physical fitness; it's about your game fitness, like how well you can, like your
Shoot.
legs, how well, yeah, like you, Elian. Speak a little bit about basketball.
Ah, thank you. Just kidding. I don't know. I'm sure like all NBA players right now, they're trying to shoot as much as possible and just like ball handle and stuff like that. You know, like the basics of it. But like, it's not the same as like I don't know. Let's say like let's take Curry for example. Like that man, he probably like shoots so much and stuff. Like it's muscle memory at this point. He just shoot, shoot, shoot. But I bet she's not able to do that as much right now because of everything that's going on. So
Yeah.
that's like a setback for him. Like I'm
Mhm.
still gonna be a good shooter, obviously, but nothing how he normally shoots, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So just like I don't know, the repetition, I just feel like it's not there. So when people say it's gonna be like the best playoffs we've ever seen, because they're all like, yeah, they're gonna be rested and stuff, but I don't think like their legs will be like in the greatest shape to be able to run up and down and stuff. You know, that's just like my take on it, I guess. I don't know.
That's Yeah, that's why I think that there should be like a 3 week period kind of uh for them, like almost like a training camp, like a mini camp or a spring training, like just something that is literally just there just to get them back into like game speed.
Yeah.
And then you can play a few games to kind of seal the deal on the playoffs, because I know some teams are right on the cusp and they were like kind of like getting the ball rolling just before like the kind of like they shut it down pretty much. And I know a lot of teams would be upset if they didn't get the chance to kind of like show that they still have momentum going into the playoffs. And I think it's also good if like the dominant teams start to get momentum going into the playoffs, because that makes it more exciting for the fans to watch, because the teams are now they're starting to click. They haven't seen each other for a really long time. So like it's just one of those things. But I also think that they need to like really take the players' health into consideration and make sure that everybody who's on the floor is like completely healthy, because like let's say they are just trying to rush everyone back and someone is like didn't get tested, and so now they go back out on the court and they get one of the referees sick, or they get one of the coaches sick, or like one of the fans sick, and they end
Mhm.
up passing away or something like that, then this is just going to restart this entire thing over. So I think that they should really like take the time to kind of make sure that everything is really like up to speed and everybody is like healthy before we start worrying about how you're going to play the basketball season. Because if everybody's not healthy, then it's not going to matter like if LeBron James can dunk from the free throw line, because he's not going to be able to, because Rudy Gobert's still going to have corona. Like it's just not
Well,
he's
he's
just not
clear
gonna be
though.
this.
Him and Donovan Mitchell are clear.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. Is there's they spread it to a lot of people, so I want to make sure that like everybody who's going to be on the sidelines, in the game, in the stands, is going to be healthy before like we kind of get back into the swing of things. Because this is one thing that like it's happening right now, and it's like kind of making life hard for us right now. But I would much rather take the longer approach to make sure that this doesn't happen again, rather than us trying to rush everything back and then in 2 years or next year even like we have the same thing happen again. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know, man. There's just a lot going on, and I think that like people need to kind of, I guess, take a step back and appreciate some of the things like in your life, because I know that sometimes we get so focused on what's going to come next, what's happening next, like what we're trying to do next, like what are we going to do in college, what are we going to study, what are we going to do after college, how are we going to pay for college, like um what kind of car am I going to drive, what's the life I want to live, and like we just need to take a step back and realize, hey, like it doesn't matter what's going to happen tomorrow if you don't get through today. Like
Yeah. Just
you're not
living,
gonna,
you know.
yeah, like
Yeah.
it's really helped me to live in the moment. Like I feel like I'm more appreciative of the things that I have rather than the things that I don't have, because I know that I'm sometimes like a materialistic person, and I enjoy having nice shoes and like nice clothes and the newest electronics and having like nice things like that. But like it's one of those things where like a lot of people don't really have that ability to do that. And like a lot of people right now, like we're worried about, oh man, we're so bored from the
Yeah.
coronavirus, but some people are worried about, oh man, like where am I going to get food? Like it's a legitimate issue now, because people don't really have jobs and they don't have ways to like pay for things and buy things, and some people are already living paycheck to paycheck, so they don't have money in savings. So now
Yeah.
they're trying to figure out what to do to try and get money so they can like survive. So I
Hmm.
think that we should like try to take a step back and realize that we're very blessed, and also try and figure out ways that we can help like people like that who don't really have the ability to be bored right now. Like
Yeah.
we're
Like
very lucky to be bored.
Yeah.
oh yeah, like being bored is like secondary to health issues, and like obviously we're missing out on a lot of stuff for senior year, like graduation, prom, baseball season. But that stuff is secondary to the health of people, and people. There's a lot less fortunate people than us. So definitely, I'm grateful for situation, but or like for my own situation. But like, I mean, the sad thing is right, like with this coronavirus, like if you get it and you get taken to the hospital, your family does not see you unless you recover or like that's it. Like if you recover, they see you again. If you die, you don't see your family from the time you go to the hospital to the time you're in the grave. Like, that's it.
Yeah, it's a very scary thing for like not us necessarily. Like that's why I think that like people just need to kind of like do what they're told because it's not you that people are worried about. Like we're worried about like a lot of like we're worried about the people who could possibly end up having to die alone because there's a lot of people like I know that I've had asthma. My little brother has like really bad asthma, so it's really dangerous for him. But like he's 4 years old, so if he gets it and he gets to like has to go to the hospital and stay in quarantine and stuff like that, like he's 4 years old, he's not going to understand kind of fully what's happening. He's just going to be kind of upset because now he doesn't have the ability to see us anymore. And
Yeah.
like it's just
Exactly.
one of those things where it's like not always dangerous for you, but it's not always about you.
Yeah.
So
We have to take care of our people, man. And not just our families, like just everybody. We got to take care of each other.
yeah, take this time to I guess like someone that you've like been beefing with lately and someone that you've held a grudge against, like just take this time to just kind of let it go. Like this is not the time for us to be divided between people who think you should social distance and people who just want to go out and party and all this stuff. Like we don't need to be like separated by things that are I guess like superficial
Yeah.
in like life and stuff like that. Like who cares if like she stole your boyfriend in like the fifth grade, like or you just think she's annoying. Like people are annoying, but it's not the time to try and start crap and really like try and get under people's skin. Like this is a time to kind of like reach out to them and say, "Hey, how are you doing? Like I know this is a tough time for you and maybe they have some stuff going on behind the scenes and like this time has made it just a lot harder." So, I think that this isn't the time to be holding grudges and more the time for us to try and forgive.
Yeah, I agree. Stop being selfish and just, I don't know.
Listen to Mr. All Star. Don't be selfish. Listen to Mr.
Yeah.
All Star.
Hey, that's gonna be on the thumbnail.
Don't be selfish.
It's true though. Like, just like do your part, man. That's it.
Yep.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, I think this was another successful episode. Elion, we thank you for like coming on. Obviously, it was a blessing. I hope to have you on the next one. Like we'd love to
Yep.
have you and
I have to make
have,
another appearance. We'll see.
yeah,
If he
this
has
was
time,
fun.
I know
Yeah,
you have.
he's a very
I know
busy man. He's got
you-
Fortnite, Call
Oh,
of
no.
Duty,
It's heading
Madden.
into my Fortnite time right about now.
All right.
Playing.
Well, thank you guys. If you guys wanted to see more of these videos, obviously we're going to continue to produce them, whether you hit the like button or not. But it still help us out if you went down there and dropped a like on us, comment what we should be talking about. I know that there's not a whole lot of stuff going on, but maybe there's something that you just always wondered, and we could, research it and try and give you an answer for it. If you guys aren't already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. We are continuing to grow. I want to thank everybody who subscribed up to this point. I know that like you guys are enjoying the content, and I just want to get as many people on board as possible. So go ahead and drop a like and subscribe if you're new,
Keep
and
supporting
we'll see
them.
you guys in the next video.
Yeah. If you guys see, also, I just want to add, if you guys see anybody or like if you know anybody who you think would enjoy our videos, please share with them. We're just trying to build up our profile kind of thing, and we really enjoy doing this. And so, as long as we feel like we're being productive and we're still having a good time, we will continue. So thank you guys for the support. We'll see you next time.
All right, we'll see you guys.
Later.